What's the most unsettling thing you've seen in a hospital? I was 8 years old when I was in a car wreck that involved over 25 cars and a chaotic flood of ambulances everywhere. It was one of those massive pileups on the highway, a total nightmare. My mom, my brother, and I were all involved, but somehow my mom and brother ended up in one ambulance while I was put into a completely different one. I didn't question it much. I just followed whatever the adults told me to do. The ambulances rushed us to different hospitals. I could walk, so when I got to the hospital, they sat me on a bench to wait, and then I was forgotten. I was just a kid, sitting there quietly on that bench in a hallway. It was all so confusing and scary, but I tried to be brave. While I sat there, a gurney was wheeled down the hall nearby. There were people shouting orders, nurses and doctors rushing around, and the noise was overwhelming. Then suddenly, the crowd dispersed, everyone running off in different directions. The gurney was left alone, right there in the hallway. I started to notice something wet pooling on the floor beneath it. Blood. I looked over and saw the sheet covering the person on the gurney had been pulled down just a little, and the face beneath was pale and still. I didn't understand everything, but I knew something was very wrong. I was alone with that gurney in the middle of the hospital hallway, blood pooling at its wheels, and no one around to explain what was happening. I felt so small and helpless. I didn't know what to do. After a while, I realized I needed to pee. I got up, still feeling shaky, and started looking around for a bathroom. I found a nurse and asked her where the bathroom was. She looked at me like I was some kind of intruder and yelled, "How did you get in here?" I told her the ambulance guy told me to wait on the bench. She softened, took me by the hand, and led me to the bathroom. Afterwards, she found me some food, which helped me feel a little better. I had some cuts from the accident, but nothing too serious. After that, she took me to a regular waiting room and told me to stay there. I waited for what felt like forever. Then, after about an hour, I overheard someone at the hospital front desk calling my mom and brother's names. The woman at the desk told them they weren't at that hospital. They had been taken to a different one. No one had told me this. Eventually, I found my grandmother, who had been looking for me. She drove me to the other hospital, where I was finally reunited with my family. By that point, it had been about 10 hours since the accident. Looking back, the whole experience was surreal. Sitting alone with a dead body on a gurney, wondering what to do. Being ignored and forgotten in a place that's supposed to be about care and safety. It was terrifying in a way no kid should ever have to experience.